Shout out to Derek. He writes, thanks for always encouraging us to make the outcome income. Oh, true indeed. And not only do I encourage you, I will support you in that. You feel me? I really want you all to be prosperous. And I also want you to support one another. Support me. I support you. Support each other. Just yesterday, a saint had a consultation with me. Young man in New York. Guy. Now, I like the software guys because I've built software businesses. So we're on the call, and he says, Marquett, I have an offer for a job from a Fortune 100 company, very big company in the aerospace industry. I want to know if it's a good offer. I say, you know what? Let me call my engineer. Right then and there, I call my engineer. Hey, Seth, can you hop on this video call? Yeah, sure, no problem. He hops on the video call, gives us 30 minutes of his time. Young man just gets to shoot questions at Seth, a software engineer who had an offer like him from a big aerospace company and who is now independently working, engaged in entrepreneurship with guys like me. And Seth is making a little under $400,000 per annum. Now, even if you work for a big company like Tesla, as a software engineer, they're going to cap you out way before that. There's no way you're going to make $400,000 as a software engineer within one of these Fortune 100 or even Fortune 500 companies. It's not going to happen. So the young man was able to get great advice from a real software engineer, from a real entrepreneur, a real software CEO who's had a world of experience. That is what I'm here to provide you guys. And also, when I see beauty and intelligence in you and I see that you're moving too slowly, I will harass you. I will tell you, don't be scared of winning. You're a winner. Let's get to it. If you're making a product, I want you to make it faster because I want you to get to the money. You heard me? Like, I want you to win. That's what I'm about. And to the saints who do consultations, they get the benefit 30-fold, you dig? And who do you know who's gonna go on a consultation with you, might give you a product idea, help you develop the product, then give you a platform to sell it on, and then you make the money? Like, come on, like, where do they do that at? It's crazy out here. And I just hope that people show me the love I've shown them. That's all I ask. When I brought Seth, my engineer, onto that call yesterday, he was talking to the young man, giving him some game on his career trajectory. He asked the young guy, he says, you know, Marquett, man, like, he goes everywhere. He's like, you know, you hear a lot of people who say they like to travel or they're world travelers. He's like, well, Marquett actually has traveled everywhere. And it's true. And this week I'm getting back out in the world. And travel is a unique experience, especially if your mind is open while you're doing it. When I meet people, I can pretty much relate with anyone. Doesn't matter what language you speak, doesn't matter where you're from. 9 out of 9, I can look at you and say, you're Albanian, you're Bulgarian, you're Habesha, you're Tunisian. I can look at you and tell because I've been there. You know, I've been there. I spent time on the soil. I picked up a little bit of the language, and that's the mark of a sophisticated man. So when I say if James Bond was a real person, he'd want to be me. Yeah, I believe that. Carrying on. He writes, thanks for all the game. It's truly a pleasure, Saint. Continue living at a high level. You inspire all of us. The movement writes, appreciate the knowledge. I always have to tune in. Thank you, Saint. Faith Foundation writes, hey, Marquett, moving to the Saint City. You dig? Talk to me. Hey, Saints. Saint City out here. It's not Sin City anymore. It's Saint City. We're going to take control. You dig? I want it so when you walk into a restaurant and you got on some of that assassin gear, they put some respect on your name. You dig? Yeah, I want VIP status for all of us out here. We taking this joint over. He writes, hey, Marquett, moving to Saint City soon from NorCal. What part of Las Vegas do you recommend moving to where it's calm but good views of the Strip? And good luck on your trip. Thank you, Saint. I recommend Summerlin's a lovely place to move to. So if you move, I would either live on the Strip, like literally on the Strip, which is a touch more expensive, but I'd live on the Strip or right behind the Strip. There's a nice place. If you DM me, I could give you the name of it. Or I would live in Summerlin, which is kind of like toward the hills and the mountains, and you can look down on the Strip. Or in the absence of those two places, I would probably consider Henderson, but me, I like to be on the scene like a sex machine. Henderson's a nearby suburb. It's maybe like 30 minutes out, but with traffic, a little bit more. I like to be on the scene. So I say you either get on the strip or you get in Summerlin or one of the nearby neighborhoods. There's some nice neighborhoods out here. South Point is reasonably low cost and it's not too far from the strip. So yeah, pull up. Tri Savvy writes, aside from a hot girl summer, your thoughts on your main woman traveling with coworkers for work purposes? That's a good question, Saint, and I can relate to it. Let me be very clear in saying that human beings will find fun wherever they can. Undoubtedly, a work trip will have some fun planned in it or some fun that occurs unexpectedly, whether it's a happy hour, a night on the town, whatever the case is. And generally speaking, coworkers are the same age, same gender, same skill level, and especially if they're going to a work conference or professional development, they're meeting people that are in that same bowl or bucket with them. So yeah, for sure they're going to be going out. So do I like it? Do I trust it? Do I like it? No. Do I trust it? Not really. And at the end of the day, as a man, you have to say, I'm not going to search for evidence of infidelity or deceit. If it comes across my desk, I will address it, but I will not search and I will not be paranoid. I will keep my emotions in check. But if I had to say, if my main chick goes out on a business trip, do I trust what's going on? No, I don't. And here's a note. Me, I know that I am a force. Every man should be a force in their woman's life. I don't drink. When women are around me, if they're main girl material or if they're upright, 9 out of 9, they don't drink, even if they drink in their regular life. When they're around me, they don't drink. When they're around me, they don't consume a bunch of sugars. When they're around me, they lift up their conduct to my level. But when they're not around me, I know that their conduct generally reverts back to where it is, who they really are, because rarely do they make real change. Which is to say, I have a main girl who went out on a business trip and she contacted me and I could tell in her tone that she was slizzard. Did she know I could tell? Maybe she didn't know I could tell. Who knows? But I could tell she was slizzard. I could tell she had been drinking. Was I disappointed? No, because as a wise man, I have the ability to anticipate. You cannot dominate unless you can anticipate. So I expected that. You must be able to look at the chessboard and anticipate the moves of the person on the other side of that chessboard and estimate within this margin of error, is this something I can deal with? These behaviors she's likely to engage in, is this something I can deal with? Make that decision. The saint further writes, if the dad was a liar, toxic, and abusive, more likely the daughter would be or seek that. Well, if the girl has not gotten over the trauma, if the female has not overcome the trauma, then surely she will continue rehashing it, discussing it, needing to see a therapist, trying to relive those experiences, seeking men who are like her father, being damaged, in other words. Yes, it is more likely that will be the case. Undoubtedly, you want to judge females one by one, but there's a likelihood that if you have one plant and you pour water to nourish the plant is going to grow up and be healthy. If you have another plant and you're pouring Mountain Dew into the soil, well, it's unlikely that plant is going to grow up strong, healthy, and well-adjusted. Your inputs result in outputs. If you input bad things, you will usually output bad things. It is a rare bird who takes the responsibility to say, I, as an adult woman, choose to be more than I was raised to be. And I do want to acknowledge that there are those women who will come to a wise man and say, you are unlike any man I've ever known, and I would like to follow your way. I have a couple of them. I even have a couple that I won't even let come into my sphere, you heard me? Because they think they're ready to submit and to learn, but they're not. Shout out to Dennis. He writes, should I invest any time on women with baggage? Well, it depends on what you want them for. And it depends on how much time you have. So if you want them just for a one-hitter quitter or a side piece, yeah, you can invest a little bit of time. But I would be fairly ruthless with them because at the end of the day, that's what they're used to. And if you treat them well, it will not lead to benefit for you. Saint writes, peace to the saints. I was curious to know if there's someone alive that you consider your equal in terms of intellect and true leadership. In terms of intellect, there are a great many who are equal and greater. Many. Like, man, I ain't even got enough time to name all the ones who have a greater mind. But in terms of having the intellect and the ability to articulate, you'll find many intellectuals are not eloquent or articulate. For there are different types of intelligence. Being able to comprehend is one type. Being able to comprehend mathematics or comprehend complex language, being able to acquire language, these are all different kinds of intelligence. But when you have general intelligence and then you're able to articulate well, I will tell you in terms of speaking, especially extemporaneously, there are maybe two or three on the planet Earth that I know of who can articulate at this level. And then the third is action. There may be some who are as smart. There may be some who are as articulate, very few. But when you also add that to the action piece, meaning you can organize groups of people, whether it's in a business as a corporation or as a political leader or a political philosopher, those three qualities are very rare. That's why historically, when you look at movements, you find that they have very incomplete leaders. Like consider Vladimir Ilyich Plekhanov-Lenin, the ideologist of Leninism. People often call it Marxist-Leninism. He was the brain behind the Russian Revolution. He was not articulate at all out of the mouth. He could not give a proper speech. He could not rouse a crowd. Then consider Adolf Hitler, one of the greatest speakers ever to this day. He was very persuasive out of the mouth. But if you read his book, Mein Kampf, garbage. Like, that book is trash, truly trash. He's not good at writing. He's not a good theorist. He does not know how to write ideology. The ideologist behind Nazism was a guy named Karl Haushofer and many others. But you rarely find those three qualities that come in one person: the intelligence, the ability to articulate, and the ability to organize and get outcomes. And embedded in the organization is the ideology. Thank you for that question, Saint. Derek writes, this world is soft and oftentimes steers us toward leisure. Oh, bro, you ain't lying. People spend time swiping, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's amazing. And sometimes we get caught in that same thing. And what I've done is on my home screen, I put all the apps on the swipe screens, which is the main screen that displays. There's only one mobile app. It's my to-do list. So when I open my phone, I just see that one app, so I get focused, eyes on the prize. He writes, this world is soft and oftentimes steers us toward leisure. True. And eventually our undoing. Whoo, you ain't never lied. Being goal-oriented is the only way. Oh, yes, indeed. And when you're goal-oriented, you're going to be happier. You dig? Because you feel like you're progressing. You feel like you're moving forward because you set something to march toward. When you don't have a goal, you find yourself masturbating all the time. You're bored and you need some feeling. You're masturbating to get some good feeling. And another thing I want to let you guys know, I turn down vagina all the time because I don't need it to feel good. I feel great. And what you should understand is that when you're bored and you have a lot of downtime, that's what causes you to chase women. When you're not happy, that's what causes you to chase females, to get the good feeling of endorphins or ejaculatory release. But when you're happy and doing the things you want to do, you're not so pressed for a woman. Further, when you have real relationships and bonds with the saints, you're within the SAS and you get to hang out with one another, collaborate with one another, enjoy life with one another, you're not so female focused. And that's why the saints who are in this locality, I try to invite you guys out when I can. Like I just described that super baller event at the villas with when the actor had his watch party. That was a very small, intimate event. It was like basically his family, his close friends, and a couple VIPs. And I brought one of the saints out who's a very respectable gentleman. So I brought him with me. We went and enjoyed. You dig? That's called community. That's family. That's friendship. That's enjoyment. Those are the things that protect you from being female focused and obsessed. You got to have other things in your life that add value to life. You dig? Let me tell you about the Saint. You heard me? People think I like bragging. I also love bragging on the Saints. You'll notice when the Saints are winning, I love to talk about it because I'm very proud. Ozzy was at the last major super fight, which was Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant. I had good seats. I had great seats. I had great seats. I was pretty much right before you get to the floor, right? The Saints said, hey, you in here? I'm in here too. I'm going to pull up. I was like, for sure, I'm right here. I tell him where I am. He pulls up on me. We're chatting. I was like, well, where you at? He was like, I'm over there on the floor. The Saint had the floor seats. He's prosperous. He's doing things big baller style. You dig? Show that man some respect. The reason I love it is because I love to see prosperity. I like to know you're winning. When someone sends you a big super chat, I love it because I know you have enough to give. When the Saints on the floor seats, sitting with the celebrities and the stars, I'm proud of them. I'm happy for him. I'm living through him. I feel like I'm there. You dig? Those are the people you want to be around. The people who are happy to see you shine. A sucker will be like, oh, you got better seats than me. A real person who's a Saint is like, oh man, you on the floor? Thank you. I love it. That's what we want to see. So shout out to the Saint because he's living at a high level. And what I want you guys to know, if you have the opportunity to do something at a high level, big boss style, do it. You deserve it. You're worth it. You should have the best. You should go for the best. Now, I will say in boxing, I like being right above the floor because I want to be in line with actually seeing the fight. I love boxing. But another experience is when you're sitting next to celebrities. When you're down there, you're there to network. You're there to take pictures with the stars, be among them, get your name out there. That's a whole different experience. So when I'm boxing, I like to be right eye level with the ring because I want to be able to see everything. You heard me? When I'm at a basketball game, I want to be on the floor. I want my feet on the hardwood. You dig? Like I'm about to get the rock. I want somebody to be able to pass me the rock if they could. You heard me? But that's a beautiful thing to see it. And to this day, I've never been on floor seats. Actually, that's not true. I have had floor seats at a boxing match. I actually got floor seats and gave one to Jabrizi one time. Oh yeah, let me actually read what he said. I didn't even read what he said. He writes, you are the real deal and are always giving out game. I appreciate that. I have really dialed in on the money side of things and continued investing. Thank you. But also traveling and seeing the world. You heard me? There are some people who are millionaires and there are some people who live like millionaires. One thing people will never get confused is that I'm living like a millionaire. I have a lot of friends who are millionaires, but they don't live like a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they don't have a nice house and nice cars. They do. It's great. I got a nice house and nice cars too. But I'm also living like a millionaire. Like when I saw the St. Ozzy and he had the floor seats, I was like, oh, that's baller. I'm over here telling my shorty, I was like, baby, look at the Saint. He down there with Dave Chappelle. You heard me? He down there with 2 Chainz. He's living. It's beautiful. I'm associated with him. Him being a part of the Assassin, when he wins, I feel like I win. You dig? But that's the mindset of a person who really is successful, who is happy, who has true abundance. But most people are broke. And that's why they would limit themselves to being in my YouTube chat hating. I mean, think about that. You're in my chat hating on me. Like, God, that's a loser position if I ever saw one. Shout out to Danny. He writes, how do you elevate yourself when you're feeling down? Well, number one, it comes in your disciplines, meaning the things that you do regularly. If you are a man of discipline, you will have high lows, which is to say when I'm depressed or feeling down, I'm still more productive than an average man. You heard me? Because if I'm happy, I'll wild out and work 20 hours straight, enjoying it. If I'm depressed or feeling down, I might work 7 hours, light work. You see, my lows are still higher than other people's highs because I have a high standard. You feel me? When you live with a high standard, you're going to perform. If somebody shows up right now, they're like, hey, Marquett, let's jump rope 15 minutes. Let's go. If they show up right now, Marquett, let's jog 5 miles. Well, to be honest with you, I haven't been running much because I've been in the boxing gym so obsessively. So I've been running a while, but could I run 5 miles? Absolutely. It would be uncomfortable, but I could still do it. If they said, let's run 13 miles, could I do it? Absolutely. It's in me. It'd be uncomfortable, but I know it's there because I keep my standards high. You'll never catch me and be able to say, let's jog 5 miles, 13 miles, and I can't do it. Not possible. I might not have the time, but I can do it. You heard me? So it's standards.